Okay, I'm still on the quest to find more activities to apply to grade 8 mathematics in the coding component of the algebra curriculum. And it's really looking at code that involves the analysis of data in order to inform and communicate decisions. And we thought that this might apply to probability as well. So I took the coin flip activity that I posted before from Brian Aspinall and changed it up, I guess, and made it a die rolling activity. Really just followed the same process he did for 2 variables and made it into 6 variables. So you can see here, you can roll a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, and here's your percentage that you'd roll each one. And when we're looking at the analysis of data to inform and communicate decisions, probability is like a nice little concept you can slide in there. We are inputting all of our data that you are then using to inform your own decisions. You can graph this data. You can do anything you want with it for probability. It's faster than hearing that die roll 1,000 times in your classroom as well. So what happens is, I did the same thing he did. I took my die sprite and I went into the costumes and changed all of the costumes. So these are all the different sides of my die. I made the reset button, so it starts off at 0, and I made turbo so that you could do a whole bunch of the experiments really fast. And so when I press my green flag, it rolls a number, and let's say 1 flip, and I rolled a 1, so it's a 100% chance that I've rolled a 1. And then we're going to roll it a second time. So we've had 2 flips. I rolled a 5 and a 1. So each one's a 50% probability. And you can keep going, and you're talking about theoretical and experimental probability. And in theory, every 6 times I roll a die. There's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6. I should be able to have 1 of each now. And you can see that it didn't actually happen. So in theory, it should have been 1 of each. And experimentally, it's not accurate. So we can reset this if we want to, because we've gone into the same. It's the exact same thing he did with the coins. When this sprite is clicked, everything just goes right back to 0. But then we've coded go back to the main one. We've coded our turbo button. So turbo asks us, how many times do you want to flip your coin? And we can say 100 times. And it flips or rolls our die. I should have said roll instead of flips there. That's my mistake, but that was based on the code. I'm learning. So it was rolled or flipped 100 times, and you can see how many times each side of the die was rolled, and you can talk about the percentage that was, which is another great lesson. How do you find percent? And when you look at each number, down here, it says set the percentage of 1 to 1. That's how many times 1 was rolled, divided by the flips, which should have been rolls. And I should go back and change that. And so you can talk about how these are getting closer and closer, because the bigger the amount of times that you roll, the closer your theoretical and your experimental is going to be. You can set your turbo to 1,000. You can set it to 1,000,000. It's up to you, but then you can definitely have your students start communicating the results of these experiments. So hope that helps.